Hello, everyone. I'm bringing it back. I rewatched the other two videos, and I said, Jesus Christ, I already did this. Once. I recorded it. I recorded 20 minutes of me reading 2 chapters, and you know what? I went to rewatch it just to make sure nothing weird happened. No sound. There's no sound. It turns out on my laptop there's a button you can press to turn the microphone off. I had that off the whole time. 20 minutes of my day wasted. Silence. Just me doing this. Just me sitting there like this. Jesus. Anyways, I'm doing it again because I want to bring it back. I get so bored. I'm bringing it back. Anyways, we did chapter 11 and 12. They went to the party. Tessa was crying. Whatever. They stayed overnight. Tessa was in Hardin's bedroom. She was in Hardin's bedroom with Steph. Hardin wasn't in there because there was a party, whatever, you know. Hardin ended up taking them home, back to their dorm, and the last thing that happened in chapter 12 was he smirked, as he usually does, and that was it. So, chapter 13, I'm going to just speed run this because I cannot do it again. Oh yeah, last recording, I showed everyone my La Croix coconut. Not sponsored. Let's go. Anyways, chapter 13. The rest of the weekend goes quickly, and I managed to avoid seeing Hardin. When I head out early Sunday to go shopping, I leave before he can come to the room, and I return after he's apparently left. The new clothes I get fill up my small dresser, but as I put them away, Hardin's obnoxious voice plays in my head. You know we are going to a party, not church. I suspect he'd say the same thing about these new outfits, but I've decided that I'm no longer going to be going to parties with Steph or anywhere that Hardin may be. He isn't good company, and bickering with him is exhausting. Finally, it's Monday morning in my first day of college classes, and I couldn't be more prepared. I wake up extra early so I make sure I can take a shower without boys around and not be rushed. My white button-up shirt, you know she's got it all the way up here, and tan pleated skirt are perfectly ironed and ready to be put on. I get dressed, pin my hair, and put my bag, over my shoulder. I'm about to leave about 15 minutes early to ensure that I won't be late when Steph's alarm goes off. She hits the snooze button, but I wonder if I should wake her. Her classes may start later than mine, or maybe she isn't planning on going. The idea of missing the first day of classes stresses me out, but she is a sophomore, so maybe she has it under control. With one last glance in the mirror, I head to my first class. Studying the campus map proves to have been a good idea, and I find my first building within 20 minutes. When I walk into my freshman history class, the room is empty, save for one person. Since this person obviously cares about being on time too, I sit next to him. Imagine you walk into an empty classroom. You're the only one in there because you're like a little bit early, and then one other person walks in and sits right next to you. I'd literally be like, get away from me. Anyways, where is everyone? I ask, and he smiles. His little smile alone puts me at ease. Sorry. Last time I recorded, I did a voice for Landon, and I'm gonna do it again because it just made me laugh every time. Birdie hated it. She's over there. She's gonna hate it again. Let me. Probably running across campus to barely make it here on time, he jokes, and I instantly like him. That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm Tessa Young, I say, and give him a friendly smile. Landon Gibson, he says with an equally adorable smile as the first one. We spend the rest of the time before class talking. I find out that he's an English major like me. Sorry, I have a hair. And has a girlfriend named Dakota. Landon doesn't mock me or miss a beat in our easy conversation when I tell him that Noah is a grade below me. I decide now that he is someone whom I would like to see more of. As the class begins to fill, Landon and I make a point to introduce ourselves to the professor. Afterward, as the day continues, I begin to regret taking 5 classes instead of 4. I rush to my British literature elective, thanking God it's the last class of the day, and barely make it on time. I am relieved when I see Landon sitting in the front row, the seat next to him empty. "Hey again," he says with a smile as I sit down. The professor begins the class, handing out the syllabus for the semester and giving a brief introduction about himself, what led to him becoming a professor, and his excitement for the topic. I love that college is different from high school, and the professors don't make you stand in front of the class and introduce yourself or do any other embarrassing and unnecessary things. In the middle of the professor explaining our reading lists, the door creaks open, and I hear myself groan as Taryn stumbles into the classroom. Last time I made a joke, and because she said she heard herself groan as if she didn't realize she was doing it, and I was like, much more likely that it was a moan. Anyways, they're not hitting the same the second time around. "Great," I say under my breath sarcastically. "You know Hardin?" Landon asks. Hardin must have quite the reputation around the campus if someone as sweet as Landon knows of him. "Sort of. My roommate is friends with him. He's not my favorite person," I whisper. As I do so, Hardin's green eyes lock on mine, and I worry he's heard me. What would he do if he had? But honestly, I don't care if he did. It's not like he isn't aware that we don't care for each other. I find myself curious about what Landon knows about him, though, so I can't help but ask. "Do you know him?" "Yeah, he's..." He stops talking and turns slightly to look behind us. I look up and see Hardin sliding into the desk next to me. Landon stays quiet for the rest of class, keeping his eyes focused on the professor the entire time. "That's all for today. I will see you again Wednesday," Professor Hill says and dismisses us. "I think this will be my favorite class," I tell Landon as we walk outside, and he agrees. But his face falls when we realize Hardin is walking next to us. "What do you want, Hardin?" I ask, giving him a taste of his own medicine. It doesn't work, or I don't have the right tone for it, because all he seems is amused. "What do you want, Hardin?" "Nothing. Nothing. I'm just so glad we have a class together," he says mockingly and runs his hands through his hair, shaking it and pushing it up on his forehead. I notice an oddly shaped infinity symbol tattooed just above his wrist, and he lowers his hand as I try to study the surrounding ink. "I'll see you later, Tessa," Landon says, excusing himself. "You would find the lamest kid in class to befriend," Hardin says as he watches him go. "Don't say that about him. He's a sweet guy. Unlike you." I'm shocked at my harsh words. He really brings out the worst in me. Hardin turns back to me. "You're becoming more feisty with each chat we have, Teresa." "If you call me Teresa one more time," I warn, and he laughs. I try to picture what he would look like without his tattoos and piercings. Even with them, he's attractive. But his sour personality ruins him. We begin walking along in the direction of my dorm and get about 20 steps when all of a sudden he shouts, "Stop staring at me!" and turns a corner and disappears down a pathway before I can even think of a response. And I'm going to do chapter 14 too because it was kind of quick. So yeah, chapter 14. After several exhausting but exciting days, it's finally Friday and my first week of college is almost over. Feeling pleased with the way the week has gone overall, I plan on just watching some movies since Steph will most likely be at a party and it'll be quiet. Having all my classes syllabi really makes things easier for me and I can do a lot of the work ahead of time. I grab my bag and leave early, stopping by the cafe to grab a coffee to get an extra shot of energy for the beginning of this weekend. "Tessa, right?" a girl's voice says behind me as I wait in line. I turn around to find the pink-haired girl from the party. Molly, I think Steph called her. "Yeah, that's me," I answer and turn to face the corner, attempting to avoid further conversation. "Are you coming to the party tonight?" she asks. She has to be mocking me. So, sighing, I turn around again and I'm about to shake my head no when she says, "You should. It's gonna be awesome." She runs her tiny little baby fingers over a large fairy tattooed on her forearm. I pause for a moment, but do shake my head and say, "Sorry, I have plans." "Too bad. I know Zed wanted to see you." At that, I can't help but laugh, and she only smiles. "What? He was just talking about you just yesterday." I doubt that. But even if he was, I have a boyfriend. I tell her, causing her smile to grow. "Too bad. We could have double dated," she says ambiguously, and I inwardly thank God when the barista calls my order. In my haste, I grab the cup too roughly, and a little bit of the coffee laps over the edge and burns my hand. I curse, hoping this isn't setting the tone for my weekend. She curses. Golly darn. Molly waves goodbye to me, and I smile politely before I exit the shop. Her comments replay in my mind. Double date with who? Her and Hardin? Are they dating? As nice and attractive as Zed may be, I feel like it's kind of like a weird, not to like interject, but like, I feel like it's weird to go from that, like, are her and Hardin dating, to be like, as nice and attractive as Zed is, like, it just feels like a weird, thing, like, I don't know what to say, like, progression, like, thought progression. Like, I feel like, I don't know, she was thinking about Hardin and now she's on Zed, I don't know. Like, I guess maybe it's like guys, like guy thoughts, I don't know. Anyways, as nice and attractive as Zed may be, Piper, just wait a second, hold on. Okay, I'm back. Oh, sorry, I thought I just closed out. And I was like, I'm gonna have to find it again. Okay, I didn't. We're fine. Okay, so as nice and attractive as Zed may be, Noah is my boyfriend, and I would never actually do anything to hurt him. And I would never do anything to hurt him. Not actually. She'd never, period. I know that we haven't spoken much this week, but that's only because we've both been so busy. I make a mental note to call him tonight and catch up, see how he's doing without me. After my coffee burn and my awkward encounter with Miss Pinkhair, my day improves. Landon and I had made plans to start meeting at the coffee shop before the classes we have together, so he's leaning against the brick wall, and as I walk up to him, he greets me with a big smile. I'm leaving about 30 minutes into class today. I forgot to tell you that I'm flying back to my hometown for the weekend, he says, and I'm happy for him to visit Dakota, but I hate the idea of sitting through British literature without him, and with Hardin, if he chose. He was absent Wednesday. Not that I was paying attention. I turned to him. So soon? The semester just started. Sorry. It's her birthday, and I promised her months back that I would be there. He shrugs. In class, Hardin takes a seat next to mine, but he doesn't say a word, not even when, as promised, Landon leaves 30 minutes into class, which suddenly makes me even more aware of Hardin's presence beside me. Monday, we begun our week-long discussion of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, Professor Hill announces as class ends. I don't hide my excitement, and I'm fairly certain I just let out a squeal. I have read that novel at least 10 times, and it's one of my favorites. Although he didn't really say anything to me at all during class, Hardin walks up close behind me. Chill for a second, please. Hold on. I'm back again. Okay, got it. So he walks up close behind her. I swear I could almost predict what he's going to say with the deadpan look in his eyes. Let me guess. You are just madly in love with Mr. Darcy. Every woman who has read the novel is, I say without meeting his eyes. We reach the intersection, and I look both ways before crossing the street. Of course you do. He laughs and continues to follow me along the busy sidewalk. I'm sure you aren't able to comprehend Mr. Darcy's appeal. My mind goes to the massive collection of novels in Hardin's room. They couldn't possibly be his, could they? A man who was rude and intolerable being made into a romantic hero? It's ridiculous. If Elizabeth had any sense, she would have told him to fuck off from the beginning. I laugh at his choice of words, but cover my mouth, stopping myself. I was actually enjoying our little banter and his presence, but it would only be a matter of time, 3 minutes if I'm so lucky, until he says something hurtful. Looking up, I meet his dimpled grin, and I can't help but admire his good looks, piercing and all. Piercings and all. She's like, oh, he's got an earring. I don't know what his piercings are. So you do agree that Elizabeth is an idiot? He raises his eyebrow. No, she's one of the strongest, most complex characters ever written, I say in her defense, using the words from one of my favorite movies. He laughs again and I join him, but after a few seconds, catching himself having a decent laugh with me, he stops suddenly and his laughter fades. Something flashes in his eyes. I'll see you around, Teresa, he says and turns on his heel and disappears back where we'd come from. What is with him? Before I can begin to analyze his actions, my phone rings. Noah's name flashes across the screen and I feel oddly guilty as I answer. Hey, Tess. I was going to text you back, but I figured I might as well call. Noah's voice is clipped, a bit distant. What are you doing? You sound busy. No, just on my way to meet some friends at the grill, he explains. Okay, well, I won't keep you. I'm so glad it's Friday. I am ready for the weekend. Are you going to another party? Your mom is still disappointed. Wait, why did he mention it to my mother? I love that he has a close relationship with her, but sometimes dating him is like having an annoying little brother who tattles on me. I hate to compare him that way, but it's true. Rather than getting into it with him, I just tell him, no, I'm staying in this weekend. I miss you. I miss you too, Tess. So much. Call me later, okay? I agree, and we exchange I love yous before hanging up. When I get back to my room, Steph is getting ready for another party, which I assume is the one Molly mentioned at the cafe. I log into Netflix and browse the movies. Hey, Piper, please. I really wish you would come. I swear we won't stay overnight this time. Just come for a little bit. Watching movies alone in this small room will be hell. Steph whines and I laugh. She continues to beg me while she teases her hair and changes into 3 different outfits before deciding on a green dress that leaves very little to the imagination. The crisp color looks really good with her bright red hair. I have to admit, I envy her confidence. I'm confident to a certain extent, but I'm aware that my hips and breasts are larger than most women my age. I tend to wear clothes that hide my very large bust. Just these mommy milkers just get in my way. Anyways, well, she tries to draw as much attention as possible to hers. I know, I say, humoring her, but then my laptop screen turns black, and I press the power button and wait. And wait. The screen remains black. See, it's a sign you should come. My laptop is at Nate's apartment, so you can't use mine. She smirks and teases her hair again. Looking at her, I realize I really don't want to sit in the dorm alone without anything to do or watch. Fine, I say, and she jumps up and down, clapping her hands. But we're leaving before midnight. Period. End of sentence.